Here's the Master Fans. We're looking at a 27-inch Sony Trinitron here. Gave this one a little clean up, and you can see we've got the front panel. Everything is intact, no scratches in the glass. Overall, this came out pretty clean all around. Got all the screws out here, so we're going to take off the back and look inside, see if anything's damaged. Okay, so taking a first glance at our actual Energizer pack in the back here, we look like we got a nice sturdy yoke. Everything on the control boards looks good. Everything on the power looks good. Looks like this is basically in factory shape. Now, this was used in a school, so no idea how many hours are on it, but everything looks to be really clean on the inside. Speakers look good. Getting a little bit closer look at the caps and the resistors here. I don't see anything obvious, a little dusty. This has a really nice divide here between the actual power board and the main board here, which runs the CRT. That's really nice to see. So I suppose if you ever had to replace or do some heavy-duty repair, you have a pretty good option. Love to see the S-video here. It's going to be really handy for getting stuff connected. I don't see really anything of grave concern, so we're just going to give this a blowout with the old duster tool, and then we'll go ahead and put her back together. And let's take a look at the remote. Alright, and lucky me, I found this in the salvage yard with this 27-inch Trinitron. Of course, it had some old batteries in it here, so we're going to have to clean up these contacts. So let's take apart this remote real quick and get her cleaned up and dispose of these batteries properly. Okay, so the remote was surprisingly difficult to get apart, partially because they're not really the most conducive things. You can see I actually broke one of the tabs here, but there are 4 tabs along the side, and then it just really tightly, oh, actually 6 tabs along the side, hence why it was so difficult. Tough to get open. You got to be careful of the infrared shield up front. That'll just pop off and go flying. Luckily it's okay. So let's take a look at the board here. You can see 2 little capacitors there look fine. There you go, a little resistor looks fine. Let's pull out this IC and just take a look. Alright, so our board pad looks pretty good. We're still going to go ahead and give it a nice cleanup. But this one looks very, very lightly used. Not a lot of gunk in here. Everything looks really clean, actually. So just going to be very careful to not cause any issues. Now the button pad, on the other hand, this is all full of gunk. So we're going to wash this up real good. Clean up the contact pads on the back. And of course we're going to clean out the front of the shell, the back of the shell, battery cover, and then we'll get some fresh batteries in this. So fun fact, if you're ever cleaning your button pads and you go, uh-oh, when I pulled this out I ripped a bunch off, and you see the board and you're like, oh man, now I have buttons missing, oh darn. Just remember, not all of those buttons are actually used. So that freaked me out for a second. Hopefully now it won't freak you out. Alright, this cleaned up really nice. Everything on the inside really wasn't too bad despite the batteries leaking. And despite the one broken tab, it fits together pretty well. There's a little bit there, but who didn't have a remote back in the day that had just a little bit of broken plastic? So all the gunk is gone. Let's get some batteries and see if this TV fires up. Alright, so with a fresh pair of batteries here, we've got lights going in the remote. So I'd say we got a good working remote. Let's try the TV. Okay, so we've got her all cleaned up. I do have the back panel still off here. So in case it needs any adjustments, we're going to give it a shot without the panel on. And we're going to try just using the remote rather than the buttons up front at first. So we'll see if the remote's coded properly. And we heard a click, so it sounds like it's working. I see a standby light flickering. Now the tube has been discharged for a long time. It's been sitting outside for who knows, so I am not expecting the picture to load too quickly. let's see here. I'm going to stand by the light. Let's try the power button once more. Okay, just getting a flicker on that standby light. I do hear a click in the back. Let's try the button. All right. Okay, so glad I left the back case off, because while everything seems to work, we've got zero picture whatsoever. So let's try and take a look from the back. Okay, so we're looking at the back here. I've got the remote in hand. So again, when I hit the power button, we're getting a click, but no sensation on the tube. Now normally, when you power these on, they degauss. Stuff takes a little while to warm up. Just looking over the tube, I really don't see anything obvious. No breakage. Obviously no smoke. Nothing has popped. Just clicks. So, a couple of things it could be. Being that it's clicking, it's possible there's an issue with the power circuit transferring over to the board. Could be a control of some kind. I don't really suspect a setting issue in terms of like brightness or, you know, picture or anything like that. And yeah, I guess at this point I'm a little stumped. The fuse on the power board looks good. I don't see anything obviously bulged or shorted. There's one free connector at CN 001 there that has nothing plugged into it. I don't know if that's material to anything, but might have to do a little bit of research and digging. But so far, no life in this old CRT. Bit of a bummer because it's very clean. Again, getting a click, so could be any number of things, but we'll do some digging and some research and hopefully find something out. All right, so actually as I was cutting off that last video clip, I all of a sudden heard a heavy degauss noise and the picture came on. So, thank goodness I don't have to do any real digging. It must have just had a little moisture or something built up on the circuit and finally made connection. Let's see. Looks like we get channel up, but the channel down button doesn't seem to want to work. Let's just try moving it to channel 3 manually. That works. So, channel down button on the remote's not making good contact. It could also be an issue with programming. Let's take a look at our setup here. I don't think these came with an ATSC tuner, so we're not going to find anything over the air. But the good news is I think that everything seems to be working. Cable on. Yep, and the auto program is just your standard over-the-air antenna. So nothing but noise, but very, very, very happy to see this one fire up and work.